Today's interview connects to the ongoing Stockholm Symposium on Global Sustainability. And with me today I have Ashok Khosla, the President of International Union for Conservation of Nature. Welcome.
Thank you.
What is the topics you're going to talk about here in Stockholm?
We're, of course, there are fundamental issues today. How do we bring back the health of our natural resources? How do we include more and more people into the global economy? How do we deal with the issues of economic collapse and running out of resources? These are all big issues that we will be discussing. But in particular, the Nobel Symposium is about cutting-edge science, technology, innovation. And my basic message to the group in the symposium would be, what has science done for the poor? What has science done for saving nature? And if the answer to that is not adequate, then why is it that we are spending all our time on high-tech, very, very advanced technology, innovation and research, when the problems of half the population of the world are not even solved yet? So my basic plea to the symposium is, how do we bring science into the lives of everyone, not just the rich? It's in the interest of everyone, whether you're rich or poor, to stop the changes that are taking place in the global climate, for example, and for the oceans and sea level and everything else, is going to impact the lives of poor just as much as the rich, and vice versa. So clearly there is a common interest, and we have to build on that. The common interest is, how do we transform our production systems and our consumption patterns in such a way that we demand less use of fossil fuel energies, more benign approaches to improving our lives. And in doing that, how do we in fact bring about the transformation in our industries, in our technologies, in our policies and so on. So it's important for the rich as much as for the poor to converge to a level of resource use, particularly energy use, which is good for everyone. Right now, the industrialized countries, the people in developed countries, are using so much energy that a large part of it is just naturally being wasted. And all we have to do is stop that waste, and we've already achieved a good part of the goals we need.
What is your feeling that the international society can come to an agreement in this type of issues of global sustainability?
The Montreal Protocol, I think, was a success, but I don't think it would be correct to say that Nagoya is an indicator of having met targets. They have actually specified the targets in Nagoya. We have a long way to go, another 10 years before we can judge whether we are actually going to meet those targets. But basically, these are such critical issues for the survival of life on Earth that we have to come to an agreement at some point. The fact that it's taking a long time worries many of us, but in the life of the planet, which is 4 billion odd years, a few years here or there, I'm sure, wouldn't be a major problem. The problem is that the urgency of some of these issues is so great, particularly in the case of climate change and loss of species, that we've really got to speed up the process of agreements.
So when you look ahead and see that Rio 2012 is coming up, what is your feeling that Rio can bring to the international dialogue?
I'd like to see at Rio is a retrospective look at all the agreements and commitments made, particularly by rich countries, and where they stand, and if they haven't been achieved, if they have not been met, then why not, and what is the global community going to do about that? And a prospective that means looking into the future, and I think the basic role of Rio should be to identify the commonalities, the synergies, the systems linkages between all these different treaties. Each of these treaties have been made separately, whether it's on biodiversity or on climate change or on forests or whatever. And the fact that they are extremely closely interlinked, the results of one have a huge impact on the outcomes of the others, that Rio should be used as a way of bringing together an understanding of how each of these treaties fits and synergizes each other. And that's really, I think, the most important thing it can do.
What is your expect then when you look at different types of stakeholders in the global society, and particularly the business role?
I'm personally a believer that every sector of the economy has a job to do, and it should be doing its job. Governments have the job of setting laws and regulations and standards and norms and enforcing them. Academia has the job of doing research and teaching and building up the youth of the next generation. Civil society has a job to be the watchdogs and the whistleblowers of society, to be able to identify what is not adequately being done for different sections of society, for example, or for nature. Business has the job of producing goods and services people need and creating jobs. And I think this is a very, very important. In fact, it's the fundamental need of every society. And so business has a very critical role to play in making the world a better place for everyone. So I believe that more and more businesses are going to have to take these into account. And therefore, it's time for them to realize that they have a leadership role to play.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khosla, for this.
Thank you, Kai.